Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day? I hope you all had a great week. For me, it was like the longest short week ever, but we made it. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Listen, we are going to be getting into it because, as most of you know, and if you haven't heard by now, let me be the first to tell you that tomorrow, her income lab, it is happening. It is happening. So today, I really want to get specific about you built your offer. Now what? What happens after you've built your offer? Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. As always, before we jump into today's content, I want to do a quick tech check. Please let me know if you can see and hear me okay, because I would hate to go through all of this good and y'all can't see me and you can't hear me. So if you can see and hear me okay, give me a thumbs up. Hello, hello, hello from Georgia. Thanks so much for joining. So I'm going to take that as yes, you can see and hear me okay. So let's just talk about it. We're going to talk about the offer that you're going to build tomorrow. Because tomorrow, something is going to exist that doesn't exist for you right now. And that is a coaching offer. And I'm not talking about an idea that you have in your head or something that lives in your notes app or on your Google Docs. I'm talking about a real offer, an offer with a name, with a price, with a structured promise, an offer that is built for a specific person. It is going to exist in the hands of the women who have been carrying this idea of their offer for months, sometimes years, sometimes some of us been thinking about this thing for decades. So we are going to be building this offer, and these women, these are going to be the women who made the decision to stop holding that idea in their head, and then they're going to start holding their offer instead, right? And I want to talk about that today. Not as a sales conversation. That's not what this is going to be, because registration closes tonight, and whatever you decide, you already have all the information that you need. Like, I literally have been talking about this thing for months. So I really just want to talk about this as a conversation about what it means to build the thing. I want to talk about what changes the day after you have an offer that didn't exist the day before it. I want to talk about what opens up. I also want to talk about what becomes possible that wasn't possible at 8 o'clock in the morning yesterday. Because most of the content about building income, it focuses so heavily on the long-term game that it forgets to tell you what happens in the immediate aftermath of your decision. And the immediate aftermath is where the shift starts. It's not going to happen 6 months from now when you have 10 clients. It's going to happen the morning you build your offer. And that's when your relationship with your own potential, it literally starts to change. So today's conversation is for two groups of people. It's for the women who are ready, who are already registered. So they've already gone and went to the website, clicked the link, and they're registered for tomorrow. And they're also who I want to celebrate and prepare to celebrate and pump them up before they get in the room for tomorrow. So that's one group. I want to pump you up. I want you to get excited because I'm excited. And then this conversation is also for the women who are still watching and you're sitting on the fence, who I want to have one more last honest conversation before tonight's registration deadline closes. So if you're in the second group, I need you to stay with me because this part of today is especially for you. So we've already gotten started. We have already dropped our city in the chat. Thanks so much for subscribing. I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for showing up. I appreciate your presence. Somebody said they are new to my channel, and I love that. I love that. So stick with me through this conversation. Anybody else, feel free to drop your city in the comments. And if you've already registered for the workshop tomorrow, drop in the chat so I can celebrate with you right at this moment. Welcome back to another episode of Nick at Noon. If you are new here, my name is Nick Scott. I am the founder and CEO of Her Income Edit, and we help professional women turn the skills they already have into coaching income and build multiple streams of revenue beyond a single paycheck. If you are excellent at what you do and you're starting to question whether your job is your only option, you are in the right place. Listen, I said it once and I'm probably going to say it about 10 more times as we go through this conversation. Registration for Her Income Lab closes tonight. We meet tomorrow, Saturday, May 30th at 9 a.m. sharp Eastern Standard Time. It is for 3 hours. We're going to be on Zoom. You're building your coaching offer in real time. Okay. General registration is $147 and the VIP experience is $297. The link for Her Income Lab is in the description. And I have something to tell you about the raffle, and I'm going to get to that very, very shortly. Okay. So stay with me. Now, I want to talk directly to the women who are already registered for the workshop. I want to talk to you first because you deserve to be celebrated. And I also want you to walk into tomorrow prepared. Listen, you made a decision that a lot of women were not able to make. And I don't mean that as a slight to anybody. I mean it as genuine, true, honest acknowledgement of what it takes to move when you've been thinking about something, when something has been, just building up and bubbling inside you for so long, you don't even know what to do with it. I know what it takes to move on that. I know what it means to say, you know what? I've been thinking about this long enough, and it is time to be in a room where this thing gets built. I want you to know that I see you and I understand that that is not a small thing. It is, in fact, the hardest part of this entire process. And you did that. That's what they do. Is this what they do? Hey, clock it. So let me tell you what tomorrow is going to look like so you can get a good night's sleep and you can have a much clearer picture of what you're walking into. Because let's be clear, I feel like I've done a great job of talking about this workshop and explaining what it is and what you're going to get out of it. But I really want to just put your mind at ease. So we're going to get started on time. And that is at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I understand that if you are not on Eastern Standard Time, I am not. So 9 a.m. Eastern for me is 7 o'clock in the morning. Let's be, that's early for me on a Saturday, but I'm going to be there. And we're going to be working in 3 focus blocks. So block 1, we're going to be talking about your ideal client. We're going to be getting specific enough that when your offer is in front of the right person, that person feels like you wrote it and you built it especially for her. We're not going to be talking about demographics, not too much. We're going to be talking about a person with a specific problem, a specific failed attempt, and a specific desire. And the specificity here, that is what's going to make your offer convert. And that's what we're going to be building toward tomorrow morning in block 1. So block 2 is all about the structure of your offer. So this is the actual container that your offer lives in. We're going to unpack what's included in your offer, how it's delivered. We're going to talk about how long should you be offering the thing that you're offering. And we're also going to be talking about the most important part of the container is the transformation. What does that look like from beginning to end? So this isn't a content outline. I'm talking about you will have an offer with a promise and a pathway. So that is block 2 tomorrow. Block 3 is your pricing and your pitch. So this is all about setting your number with intention. If you are listening, if you are new here at Nick at Noon, you know how much I talk about pricing and why I'm so passionate about it. So you will not be guessing at your price. You're going to be writing a 1 sentence pitch that you can use that same week. So what is next week? June 1st? You can use it next week. So the sentence that is going to make the right person say, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. The right person to say, wait a minute, tell me more about what it is that you're doing. And you're going to leave tomorrow with 6 specific things. You're going to have your ideal client defined. You're going to have a named offer. You're going to have a structure for that offer. You're going to have a price. You're going to have a pitch. And you're going to have a naming framework so you can finalize what to call it. You're not leaving with notes. You're going to leave with some notes, I hope, but that's not going to be the only thing. You're going to leave with the thing, the offer built. And then for those of you that are coming in as the VIP, you also have a guaranteed hot seat. So you will be getting the free full recording so that you can revisit what we cover tomorrow and you can refine, you can rewatch it. And you also get a 60-minute private strategy session with me after the workshop so that we can tighten anything that needs to be tightened. And then you have a true map for your next move. So if you upgraded to the VIP, you made a very good call. Now, I mentioned something at the beginning and it was a raffle. So I want to talk a little bit about this raffle now because I want you to know this before tomorrow. The first 20 women who register, they are automatically entered into a raffle for a full ticket reimbursement. So that means if your name is drawn, you're in for free. And the winner is going to be announced live tomorrow during the workshop. So if you're registered in the first 20, your name is already in there. And you're going to find out tomorrow morning whether or not you won. And I mean, honestly, how good is that, right? Like, I truly love this for us. Like, we are going to have a funky good time. Hey. And for those of you who registered after the first 20, here's what I want you to know. You didn't register just because of the raffle. You registered because you made a decision about your future. And that decision is already paying off before tomorrow even starts. So if you are in, again, type in the comments, I in, because I want to see how many of you are in the room with me right now. Because tomorrow we're gonna have a funky good time. Hey. We are going to have a good time tomorrow. This is not a sit and listen to Nick Scott just talk to you for 3 hours. Now, let me talk to the other half of the room. So I talked to all of you that are registered. Thank you. I appreciate you. Now let me talk to the other half of the room because I thank you and I appreciate you too. And these are the women who are still watching, the women who are still deciding, the women who are still somewhere between, you know what, I know I need this and I'm going to do it. And if that's you, I want you to stay because this section that I'm getting ready to get into, this section is entirely for you. Now, I'm not going to repeat things that I've said earlier this week or earlier this month or even last month, because I've already talked about how, how smart and intelligent women freeze. I've already talked about the anxiety of having one paycheck and the cost of delay. Like, you hear that all the time. You've heard all of that. So let me say something different for today. Is it okay if I say something different today? Let me tell you specifically what you get the day after you build an offer. Not a month after, not a year after. I'm literally talking about you built an offer. Now what? The day after you build your offer, you wake up and something is different. Something's different about you when you wake up. And it's not your bank account, not yet. Not yet. It's not going to be your audience size. It's not going to be confidence in some broad sweeping way. What's different about you is this: you have a thing, you have the thing, you have a real specific price named thing. And having the thing, it changes the internal conversation that you have with yourself. It completely changes that. Before your offer exists, every conversation you have about building a second stream of income and creating options for yourself, it's hypothetical. You might say something like, I've been thinking about coaching or consulting. And then the next sentence is always a hedge. The next sentence is like, but I'm not sure what direction yet, or I haven't fully figured out my niche, or maybe it's, I think I'm almost ready. And the thing about it is every sentence has an exit built in. It has an exit that's automatically built in because you don't have a single thing to really stand behind. But here's the good news. The day after you build your offer, that conversation changes. Because now you're going to say something like, I help professional women who are navigating career transitions build the confidence and strategy to land roles that match their value in a six-week container for $2,000. And when you say that, there's nothing to hedge, right? There is no exit because your offer exists. You built it, it's yours. And your nervous system, it knows the difference between those two states of mind. And it knows it in a way that no amount of preparation can produce. And that is what tomorrow is. It's the day that your conversation with yourself changes. And can I ask you something, like honestly ask you something? What is the specific thing that's keeping you from registering right now? Because I really want to directly address it, and I don't just want to dance around it. Because if it's the investment, like if it's the price point that's keeping you back, let me say this. You're spending $147 for general registration or $297 for VIP. You're going to spend 3 hours building something that you can sell for $2,000 to $5,000. The math on that is not a risk. I mean, if you could make $5,000 from spending $300, wouldn't you do that all day long? Because that is a real return on investment and it can start immediately. Like literally that day. That's one of the reasons why we're starting so early in the morning, so you can get started. So if it's uncertainty about whether or not you have enough to even build an offer, the answer is yes, you do. You do. If people come to you for guidance, if they come to you for clarity, if they come to you for advice or solutions in any area of your professional or personal life, you have enough. Your offer doesn't require you to know everything. It requires you to know more than the person that you're intending to help. And I guarantee that you do. So if your hesitation is not knowing what will happen after your offer is built, that's the right question. And the answer is you start having conversations with people about the exact thing that you've built that you can sell. That's the next step. Build it and then start having conversations. And having your offer is what makes that next step possible. So if your hesitation is, well, Nick, I'm not ready, I want to say something that I hope it sits and sticks with you the way that it sat and stuck with me the first time that I really heard it. And that is, ready is not a feeling that arrives through not taking action. It's a feeling that is built through taking action, through the doing. I say it all the time, the genius is in the doing. So the thing is, you don't wait for ready. You build and then ready shows up. So you keep building until you feel ready. Who in the room watched my very first Nick at Noon back in March when I launched this thing? Because I launched it literally over the course of 3 days. I was laid off on a Wednesday. That following Monday, Nick at Noon was in your timeline. At that point, it was on Instagram and YouTube. What did I do that for? I wasn't ready by any stretch of the mind. Like Nick at Noon wasn't even a thing. I hadn't even thought of doing anything like this before March 6th. But that Monday, ready or not, here we come. You can't hide. But now, guess what? Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Mountain Time, guess what she is? She ready. And why is she ready? She's ready because I build it and I kept building it until ready shows up. And it shows up. And it almost always shows up faster than you expected, but you have to start moving. Like you cannot stay stagnant and keep saying that I'm not ready, because ready is built through movement. It is built through action. So again, registration closes tonight. The link for her income lab is in the description. And I want to be in the room with you tomorrow. Now I want to get specific here about the thing that shifts when a woman goes from having an idea to having an offer, because the difference is much more concrete than most women realize. And I want to make sure that you understand exactly what you're building toward. So an idea lives in your head, right? It doesn't have a form. It doesn't have a shape. And it can be everything or nothing at the end of the day. It can be brilliant on Monday and completely unconvincing by Wednesday when your confidence dips. So an idea has no ground to stand on because it hasn't been tested against reality yet. It's pure potential, but it doesn't have anything to really anchor it. An offer, though, it lives in the world because it has a name, it has a price, it has a specific person for who it's for, and it has a specific problem it solves and a specific transformation it promises. An offer is made specific enough, it can be disagreed with, right? And that means it's also specific enough that it can be sold. So if it can be disagreed with, then it can be agreed with. And when you have an offer in the world instead of an idea in your head, you start moving differently. You do. You start talking about your work differently. You start showing up online with a different kind of clarity, with a different kind of sway, with a different kind of vibe, because you're not trying to convince people to be interested in a vague concept or an idea that lives in your Google Doc. You're inviting specific people into a specific thing. And here's what I want you to know about, here's what I want you to think about specifically in the context of the women who are going to be in that room tomorrow. These are women who are going to walk out with something that they can sell that same week, not someday when they have a bigger audience, not eventually when they have more testimonials. I'm talking about June 1st, you can sell it because your offer doesn't require a huge following to be sold. It requires a conversation. And conversations start the moment that you have something to talk about. And I want to tell you about what the week after looks like for most women who build their offer in a working session like this. So on Monday, they have a very different answer when someone asks what they do. On Tuesday, they'll reach out to 2 or 3 people in their existing network who know that they need what you've built. So on Monday, you have a different pep in your step. On Tuesday, you start talking to people. On Wednesday, you'll have your first conversation about your offer with someone who isn't a friend or a family member. And by the end of next week, by this time next week, you're not wondering if you're ready. You're asking, how do I refine the thing that I've already started? And that's the momentum that building something produces. It is not information, it is not certainty, it is movement. And movement is contagious in the best way possible. Because once you start, your brain stops asking, should I do this? And it starts asking, how do I do this better? How can I refine this? How can I elevate this? How can I level up? And that is a completely different life. And I want to specifically say something to the women who are registered and might be feeling some type of nerves as tomorrow gets closer, because that feeling is right on time. It is not a warning sign. It's a signal that what you're about to do, it matters. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't feel any type of way about it. So the nerves are evidence that you're stepping into something real. And I want you to walk into tomorrow with that mindset instead of the one that says that your nervousness means that you're not ready, or that it's a sign that you shouldn't be doing this, because you are ready and you should be doing this. You have been ready and you should have been doing this. Tomorrow is just the place we make it official. Tomorrow is just the place we make it official. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Now, let me do something I don't usually do in this final episode before I close out. Let me just straight up with you about the math. Okay? If you don't register today, the offer you've been thinking about building doesn't get built tomorrow. It doesn't. And I mean, that's not a threat, it's a fact. May 30th is the specific day that this room exists. After tonight, it doesn't. And the time you sit down alone and you try to build your offer, you'll be in the exact same environment that hasn't worked every other time you've tried to build your offer. So you'll have the same blank document, the same spiral of questions, I'll come back to this when I have more clarity. And I'm not saying you can't build an offer without this workshop. Please do not misunderstand what I'm saying, because everybody knows that you can. People do it all the time. But I want to ask you how that approach has been going for you. Trying to figure this out alone. How has that been going for you? Because if you're watching this episode on May 29th and you haven't built your offer yet, the solo approach has had months or years to produce results, and it hasn't. And it's not because you're incapable. It's because doing things solo in a silo, those environments don't force the decisions that need to be forced. It lets you defer things indefinitely, forever and ever and ever. And indefinitely is where ideas die. The workshop tomorrow, it forces decisions. I designed it this way because it's 3 hours. That's not a whole lot of time. And it's 3 hours where decisions have to happen because someone who has built this before is in the room with you. I will be walking you through each one in sequence. And you'll leave before anything gets deferred. Like, I'm not going to allow that to happen. I am here to be your accountability partner. And that is, I mean, honestly, that is a fundamentally different building environment than a blank Google Doc at 11 p.m. after the kids are in bed. Let's just be honest, right? And here's the math that I want you to really, really, really think about. One coaching client at a $2,000 offer, it more than covers the cost of this workshop 10 times over. And that's not even a big number. Like $2,000 isn't even a big number. That is a real accessible near-term outcome for a woman with a built positioned offer. Women with less experience than you are generating that type of income right now today as I speak, literally. And it's not because they're more qualified, it's because they built their offer. Women with less experience than you are getting paid for what you give away for free every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. And I'm not saying that to make you feel behind. I'm saying it because sometimes the clearest, cleanest motivation is the most honest one. And I'm just being honest. Your skills have value in the market right now. The only question is whether you've packaged them in a way that the market can access them. And tomorrow is the answer to that question. Tomorrow is the answer to that question. Now, let me close with something that I've been thinking about all week as this launch has built toward this moment of today. There's a specific kind of woman this workshop is built for, and I want to describe her because when you hear yourself in a description, something and you start to just feel a little good, it settles with you, right? So this lady, she's been excellent at her job for years. She's the person that people call when things are complicated, when decisions need to be made, when someone needs guidance from someone who knows what they're talking about. She gives this thing away constantly. She gives it away in meetings and hallways and text threads and coffee conversations that last an hour longer than anyone planned because what she said was so useful and too useful to cut it off. Like she's flowing. She's in her gift. She's walking in her gift. And this woman, she's been thinking about what it would look like to build something on her own for herself. And she's been thinking about this for somewhere between 1 and 4 years. And she has consumed all the content about it. She has been to workshops that gave her good information and then sent her on her way to figure out how to build it alone. This is for the woman who started to create an offer, but she never figured it, finished it. This is for the woman who has named and renamed her offer that she wants to build. She knows that it exists somewhere in the space between what she knows and what people need. But she just hasn't closed the distance between the idea and the offer yet. She hasn't closed it yet. And this is for the woman who has been waiting, not because she's not ready, but because she's never been in the right room at the right time with someone who could walk her through the decisions that she keeps deferring. And that is who tomorrow is for. And if that description sounds like you, I want you in the room. Registration for her income lab closes tonight, y'all. We meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. We're meeting for 3 hours. Your offer is going to get built. The first 20 registrants, your name goes in the raffle for a full ticket reimbursement, and the winner will be announced live tomorrow. General admission is $147 and the VIP is $297. And your VIP experience includes your guaranteed hot seat. You get the full recording and you get a private 60-minute strategy session with me after the workshop. So the link is down in the description, or you can go straight to my website at herincomeedit.com/workshop. And if you are coming tomorrow, I want you to drop lab in the comments, LAB. I want to see every single one of you in that room. I want to see every single one of you in that room. And for the women who are watching and you've decided that today isn't the right time, listen, I respect that. I completely respect that. I want you to stay close. I want you to keep watching. I want you to keep building because I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. For everybody else, I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. If you have not already and you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you don't miss a beat. This is the last Nick at Noon episode before we go live at Her Income Lab tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last call. If you haven't registered, go ahead and visit my website at herincomeedit.com/website. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining on YouTube. And get registered. Get registered. We're building the thing. And again, like I said, if now's not the right time for you, I completely respect that. I just ask that you continue to watch, you continue to engage, you continue to show up because we are making moves. We are moving mountains, y'all. We're moving mountains here, okay? Thanks so much for each and every one of you who popped into today's conversation. Special shout out to those of you that dropped comments in the chat live, letting me know where you're from. I am here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Mountain Time. Set your notifications and your reminders so you don't miss a beat. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.